Shoot the Breeze topic number 3 tonight is what is going on with the governor of Florida? Why didn't he see this coming? And this is going to take us back to TikTok. Let's check out the video, and then we'll discuss it.
Tough immigration law just isn't working out. Most immigration workers left, so Americans. The problem is, he says, show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field. And farmers say many Americans are not physically fit and simply don't work fast enough.
Many of our local farmers are dependent on immigrant labor to pick their crops every day. And that's the produce you and I are buying in the grocery store. But many of the men I spoke with agree that immigrants need to be legalized in some form or fashion. Several of the farmers I spoke with today off camera say the inconsistency of the immigration law is already hitting their business. They told me workers are simply moving to states who do not have immigration laws, and they say that could jeopardize farming.
Let's play it again one more time.
The state's tough immigration law just isn't working out. Most immigration workers left, so this farmer hired Americans. The problem is, he says, most show up late, work slower, and are ready to head home after lunch. Some even quit after just one day out in the field. And farmers say many Americans are not physically fit and simply don't work fast enough.
Many of our local farmers are dependent on immigrant labor to pick their crops every day. And that's the produce you and I are buying in the grocery store. But many of the men I spoke with agree that immigrants need to be legalized in some form or fashion. Several of the farmers I spoke with today off camera say the inconsistency of the immigration law is already hitting their business. They told me workers are simply moving to states who do not have immigration laws, and they say that could jeopardize farming.
All right, so that should be topic number 3. Someone's mic is on. That should be topic number 3. What is going on with the governor of Florida? Why didn't he see this coming? I got a couple of ones. Brother Bakari said 1-1-1 for everyone except Azuli. Marcus McGee hit a 1, and so did Oni, who's on the panel with us now. Let's start with Oni. Oni, what's going on with the governor of Florida? Why didn't he see this coming?
Why didn't he see? Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird that he didn't know that the immigrants were doing all the work. It is kind of weird. Like, how do you get in that position and not know? But like, yeah, that's the trouble with, like, the thing is this. It's, do not believe your own propaganda. You know? Do not believe your own propaganda. It's like I was just, matter of fact, I just quoted, unfortunately, I quoted Bill Cosby on Twitter. And so, you know, to preface why I quoted him, I'm like, you know, we actually quote, you know, somebody would quote Washington or Jefferson too. You know what I mean? Like you would quote somebody who's not necessarily a good person. And now I use that to say Washington and Jefferson, they might have said some, oh man, you know, black folk is ugly and black folk is stupid. They didn't live that. But if you owned a plantation and you really believed that black folk were dumb and black folk was stupid or black folk were ugly and all that shit, right? Somebody, one of the other, you know, owners would have been like, hey, don't believe that shit. Come on, you know damn well we're not trusting stupid people to this stuff. You know what I mean? Like these black folk is my blacksmith, these black folk is my this, you know, like these black folk doing stuff, right? And of course, you know, Jefferson, you know, he ain't believe no damn black woman was not beautiful, you know, fucking pig. Anyway, but what I'm saying is that you don't believe your own rhetoric. The rhetoric is just to move people. So the conservatives are like, ah, man, we don't like those immigrants. We don't like those immigrants. But it's just to move the white base. You do not believe your own propaganda. But if you a stupid ass, right, you're going to believe that dumb shit. And then you're going to end up with a bunch of fat farmers, a bunch of fat farmhands. And you know damn well fat farmers, you know, a bunch of people quitting on the farmers, and then you got a food shortage, and then you got this. It's because you gotta know when to say the right stuff. It's kind of like even that, like I say this. So sometimes I'll be on my Discord, and a brother might be like, "Man, so what we gonna do about these white boys?" I might have of that interview you did with RJ Mahdi, right? Where it's like, what are we gonna do about these Asians in Africa and all that stuff? And it's like, look, on the rhetoric side, on the idealistic side, you would say, we don't want none of these motherfuckers in Africa. You know, we don't want no Asians, we don't want no Europeans, we don't want nobody in Africa, right? But on the real side, you know, it's like that brother was saying, right? I don't know how to get no damn oil off the side of the Senegal. I can't go on no damn ocean to get no oil off of Senegal. If I want to sell that oil, I'll have to cut a deal with a person who has the machinery. Or if you say, well, why don't we build the machinery? Okay, I don't know how to build no damn giant drill, you know? So why don't you learn how? Yeah, so if I have to, at some point, you're going to come back to, okay, somehow, some way, indirectly, you're going to have to get involved with these other people. You know, you could say, look, close the door, close the border, we don't give a shit. And I mean, that's fine if you really serious. But again, that's another thing that we're not even serious about. You know, even when you talk about the chocolate just now, right? Do you want European buyers of this chocolate? You know, now you might be like, hey, no, I only want African people buying this chocolate. Okay, so are you willing to sell the chocolate for much less than you would in the international market? And I mean, look, you can take that. You can bite that bullet, if you will. You can do that. Okay? But it might even come to the point where it's like, why the fuck, like what Azuli was saying, why the fuck are we even doing chocolate? If this is the returns we get. Because the only people that really want chocolate are the people in Sweden. You know? Or the people in America. If the common man is not even interested in chocolate. Because I remember, in fact, I was in Africa, matter of fact, I'll tell y'all this. I was in Africa, I was in the store, and it was a store that mostly catered to, it was in the mall, right? Them prices for chocolate, shit. Y'all know that Ferrero Rocher? Because that Ferrero Rocher is pretty expensive here in America. That shit double in Africa. Ain't nobody was picking that stuff up. Only people picking that stuff up would have been the foreigners. You know, ain't no reason. You know, we talking, what would it be, like $10 or some shit? No. Yeah, maybe like $20 for like one of them, like a big case of it. But like, I ain't paying no $20 for no chocolate. You really have to love that chocolate. But anyway, my point was, I just got a little, but my point was that, yeah, you do not buy your own, like you don't get high your own supply or whatever, but you don't buy your own propaganda. You say that shit, you get elected, and then you do. That's why I don't like this guy Biden. I ain't gonna hold you, but I get what he's doing. He's you know, he says all the good stuff. Fuck Wall Street and fuck this, but I'm gonna give you guys this stuff. You know, I'm gonna give you guys these student loans and all that kind of stuff. He says all that, but then realistically, he's like, okay, I'm in office. I won. Politics as usual. This guy said, no, I'm gonna, like, I think he's trying to run for president, you know? And so he just had to like go, you know, tell his base, oh, I ain't gonna fool you. You're supposed to fool people, otherwise you're gonna look like a damn fool, and your people ain't gonna have no fresh produce. But of course, y'all don't even eat produce, so it's whatever. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I like that what you had to say there, Oni. Let's go to Oye. Oye, what's it?
What I see from this is basically it just showed me that the politicians of the United States really don't have a high opinion on the intellect of the people that's going to be voting for them. It's really optics and rhetoric over substance. I mean, if he can, because he's trying to go the presidential route later, so everything he's doing in Florida right now is trying to set that groundwork so he can be the Republican candidate. But I mean, we all know that anytime it's capitalism, it's finna be immigration's finna be right near. It's the same stuff that's went on during the Gilded Age and every time in America. So I mean, it's just regular American politics. He talking anti-immigration, take all the jobs, woo out the bam. He know what type of demographic he's targeting, and that demographic that he's targeting is gonna go with it. I mean, it just is what it is. It's stupid, but it is what it is. I use the mic too.
I appreciate that. Let's hear from Erzuliism. What say you to this?
To be honest, I don't even buy into this stuff. It could be proper. Um, to all of a sudden, oh, there's an orange, there's food shortage, or we gotta. I don't believe these. All these things to me is propaganda. I don't know who's doing this propaganda. I don't know who wrote that. It could be the Democrat side doing it, and it could be the Republican side to, like the brother just said, to appeal to the Republican. Oh, we don't want immigrants, and then this could be a Democratic hit piece to be like, oh, this is what happened when a Republican. This is what's gonna happen to us. We don't have anybody to pick the 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 fruits. And then again, it's like how much you paying these people. So to me, this stinks like propaganda. I don't know which way to look at it. I don't buy into it. So that's what I'm gonna say about that.
This story does prove the whole thing about the immigrant, though. The immigrant will come in and they will work hard. They will do the things that the natives in a place aren't too keen on doing, especially at that price point, etc. And so this is, we've talked about this in terms of the whole FBA and ADOS rhetoric against immigrants.
But the immigrants are being exploited, to be honest. I mean, because just because you come here, I don't know how much they get paid. If you're making, let's say, you at home, and the immigrants, what the immigrants don't understand is that the reason why their country is the way it is because it hits on their country. So they come here and get to do an extra $4 or $5 for something for that most of us are not gonna do because we recognize and we've been to school that it's unfair. So I don't when people say, "Oh, it's the job that we don't want to do it because you're not paying a livable wage to people."
Yeah, but the immigrant will do it because in some countries, a dollar, even like in the Caribbean, like Guyana and them, a dollar is like $1,000 or a couple of $100 for $1 US. So the immigrant will do it because he or she knows they could send that money back, and that money stretches out. That money does its thing, right? So yeah, you're right. In America, though, the native in America will look at that money and say that doesn't make no sense here for me. But the immigrant is doing it because that would make sense for his people back home. I just wanted to share that piece. Urzuli, finish your thought.
No, I was just saying that, like, so at the end of the day, I think all this show is that it's going to show that we need immigrants, so we need to let the immigrants because they do all these things for us. So again, they're going to use that to do whatever they're going to do for the next coming election. So I just don't understand this, and I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to read this story because the news is a bunch of I don't trust this news. So I mean, it is what it is. I don't have anything to say about that.
I think that everybody, Americans are not stupid. Americans are very smart. Well, I give them credit for being very smart. Americans know how America works. You all know Americans know how America works. Illegal immigration is something that most Americans they understand that if I want to get a bag of oranges for $3.50, then somebody gonna be getting the shitty end of the stick. You know what I mean? So I pay in the illegal immigrant where I don't have to pay for his health care, medical care, all kind of things like that as a regular citizen. I could pay him much less as an illegal immigrant working under the table, and then at the end of the day, sell them same produce for $3 a time, $3 a whole bag of oranges for $3 a time, as opposed to an American citizen where I have to where there must be certain checks and balances. Where I have to ensure all the different things of a regular American citizen. So I have to pay for that and including his labor. So I don't know what the wages now, the minimum wages for an American worker now. So at a where I don't have to pay for where for an illegal immigrant I don't have to pay. I may not have to pay for the so-called the regular price of a regular American citizen and a legal immigrant that can ensure that I can purchase bags of apples, tomatoes, onions, all the things that these illegal immigrants pick for less than nothing. You know what I mean? So when I buy that from the grocery store, I don't have to pay $15. But now, when they get rid of all these illegal immigrants, now the same things I used to pay for $3, now I have to pay for $15. Why? Because regular American citizens have to pick these fruit, these vegetables, and all these different things. And to do that, you have to ensure certain things are done for a regular American citizen. Americans know that. They know that. When there are shortfalls in the military and the army, they get these same illegal people, illegal immigrants, and put a military uniform on them and go have them go fight for their country. This is historical. This is how it's done. This is how the system actually works. You know what I mean? And I think that most Americans understand these things. So when you start removing these things and the actual cost of picking oranges by American citizens is shown, you actually reflecting it at a grocery store, people are gonna say, well, wait a minute. Well, you know what the result was gonna be. You know what the result was gonna be. If it ain't illegal immigrants picking your fruit and making sure certain you could have a Bahamian immigrant pick a bunch of oranges for less than a whole field of oranges for $150, where for a regular American citizen you have to pay $1,500. And the reason why a lot of immigrants have been able to exist on that kind of income is because the typical immigrant coming from a third world country, he could exist on $30,000, $20,000 a year, feed a family of four plus his wife, because he understands that in his country you probably have to live on less. So he still is able to take the 10,000 from the 20,000 he receiving per year and send it back home, because his mindset is he have a $10,000 a year mindset. You know what I mean? A person that's in a situation, he ain't gonna go to Red Lobster. He getting grits and tuna to eat every night. That's his food. That's his reality. So that's how they've been able to exist for so long. But when you get rid of that dynamic, there are some results that I don't understand how Americans are unaware of that, because that's how the system been working. It's been working that way. But needless to say, man, I don't know. I'll leave it.
You give Americans too much credit, boy. My God, you give us too much credit.
Let's welcome Carl Hezekiah.
How you
Carl,
doing, Goku?
I'm good. Thanks for coming through.
Man, I live in Florida, so this is my I call him Ron the Satan, because he's an idiot. Everything he does is just. Anyways, let me just stick to the topic at hand. So he knew exactly what he was doing when he signed these laws, but what he's doing is that he's appealing to the bigoted feelings of his voter base. He knows that this is a topic that many racists in America support. Illegal immigration. They like to pretend illegal immigration is the problem, instead of actual government policy that is created by the Republican Party. So they use illegal immigration as a scapegoat. So what this thing is, it's a dog whistle to his base to get them riled up, and if we're going to get rid of these immigrants, we're going to bring these jobs back to the American people. Now he knows this was going to happen, but what he's going to do is pass off the blame. Well, it's the Democrats causing this problem. This state has been ruled by Republicans for 20 years. They've been governors in the majority in the Senate, and what they're doing is very intentional. But he's trying to rile up his base for his presidential run. That's his goal. That's his desire. So what he's going to do is blame whatever happens on somebody else, and they're going to eat it up. That's why DeSantis has been going into Texas, taking people from across the border, people who were coming in seeking asylum, taking them, flying into New York to Massachusetts. It's all theater to show that I'm doing something about the illegal immigrant problem, not Biden. I'm the one to vote for. But he knows these prices are going to rise in the stores, and he's going to blame it on Joe Biden's economy. So this is all a part of his plan. And to be honest, most Americans are not very intelligent, to be honest with you. You know, individually we're smart, but as a group, as a people, we're not. You know, it's too much propaganda. We're the most heavily propagandized people, I think, in the world. You know, American media just feeds a steady, relentless stream of propaganda to where we believe that stuff. We believe our troops are going overseas fighting for freedom. You know, we believe this nonsense. And in reality, it's not the case. So what DeSantis is doing is very calculated. You know, he's done a lot of things, such as, you know, getting certain things about Black history, getting out of the schools. You know, as far as his issues with gay people, whatever, he is he's signaling to his base that he's going to create the America that they want. So this is very calculated. He knew what he was doing. You know, he's a demon from hell, but I got to give it to him. He knows how to appeal to the people who are going to vote for him. And I'll leave it there. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, thanks, Kyle Hezekiah. There's a follow up to this. So if you had any last thoughts, hold them for a second. There was a follow up to this. This came with a link as well. Looks like it's taking us to TikTok again. We'll watch them comment.
This bill is 100% supposed to scare you. I'm a farmer, and the farmers are mad as hell. We are losing employees. They're already starting to move to Georgia and other states. It's urgent that you talk to all your people and convince them that you have resources, state representatives, and other people that can explain the bill to you.
I really didn't prepare anything, but I agree with everything that Representative Brown said. This is a bill basically to scare people from coming to the state of Florida, and I think that it's done its purpose. This bill really doesn't have any teeth.
This is more of a political bill than it is policy. It does give more police state powers going forward to deal with immigration, but still, this is mainly a political bill.
All right, so that was the follow up. Does anyone have any final thoughts on this prompt? Oh, wow.
I expect the corporations, the agricultural corporations, who understand these kinds of things, to step in and say, well, hey, wait a minute. You all want certain things for a certain cost, a certain price in the state. If you get rid of illegal immigration, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, Carl say that I think Americans are stupid. I can't think that because it's like they're so easy to put together. That's so easy to put together. If you get rid of illegal immigration, what do you think is gonna what do you think that you're gonna have to pay for the simple things you would get from the grocery store? The usual products, lettuce, tomatoes. Do you think it's gonna still cost $3? Come on, man, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I mean, you can't. I would think that you would be able to see that. And maybe in my mind, and that's how I'd work, I would think that you would make the connection. I say, I guess Americans don't make the connection. I would make the connection. That's obvious. Maybe that's just
man.
Me. I don't.
It is just you, because they don't mind hurting themselves if they think it'll hurt the people they hate more.
Right.
You know, that's kind of, you know, the whole thing about cutting off your nose to spite your face. There's been many policies, many things that would have benefited the white people, people in this state, that they have vetoed or they have gotten rid of because they think that it will hurt people of color, Black people, Mexicans, Latinos, whatever. It will hurt them more. You know, I'll give an example. When they wanted to expand Medicaid during Obama's president, they wanted to expand Medicaid, have more people, you know, available to get health benefits, and the governor vetoed it, and that money ended up going to Ohio, and it would have benefited many people in this state. But the fact that it might have benefited some people they didn't like, they were willing to get rid of it. So yeah, it's a sick mentality. I can't explain it.
They feel that this country turning brown. So they'll sacrifice the lettuce going up a couple dollars if they can stop that from happening in their mind. The average American doesn't understand civics at all. So you giving them way too much credit, or giving us way too much credit.
I appreciate that from all you guys. Hey, we're gonna end at 11 p.m. So let's go to the next and last topic. We can have a little discussion on this. Thank you all for everything you'll have to add to that last topic. Shoot